So played with this a little bit more. Found a launcher that works pretty good with it. So this is the old unit. This is not the new one that I'm getting. This one I probably will be selling when I get the new one in, I would imagine. So I figured I'd do a video on this one just to kind of compare to the new one that's going to be going in. Of course, you know, a little bit of a boot time to it. So I'm using this launcher called Custom Car Web Guru. I think it seems to, given the limitations of the 1 gig of RAM of this unit, it moves fairly quick compared to the stock launcher. All the apps seem to move fairly fast. Focus is terrible. There we go. Okay. So yeah, logs into that. Hit that. Go back to the home. What else? Oh, Sigic. Okay, so this is one of my big things. Some of you guys aren't as worried about it, but maps. So Sigic lets you load different states, so you can choose as many states as you want. Yeah, honestly, on the 32 gigs built in on this unit, you could probably load every state and be fine. So that's pretty cool. So you can see on my map I've got pretty much everything on the East Coast, except, you know, nothing up top there, but anywhere I would feasibly go in this car, I've got it loaded in. So I can go ahead and you know, punch in an address. I don't even need the not that I know an address to punch in, but yeah, I don't even need to connect to the Wi-Fi to get directions to go anywhere with Sigic. So Sigic is pretty good. I like that. Bluetooth, it seems to function fine. Of course, I'm using a phone now, so I can't really connect and play music or anything. But I think a better launcher on this made a big difference, and then finding the maps thing made a big difference. Still have no AM radio, and still got to figure out the backup camera, because I put one in, but I just got to wire it up and replace the other one, and I just don't feel like it right now. So but yeah, this is kind of cool because you can like set custom everything, whatever, you know, shortcuts you want to put for all your stuff. I've got pretty much everything I'm looking for. So I got my BTSM, I got play audio levels and stuff. I got mine set up for adjusting the audio with the steering controls. Nothing else seems to really sink in with the steering. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just on this unit. So this is the cheap unit on eBay that's like $200 and down, right around the $200 mark. So I mean, that's what you're getting for $200. You know, it's got a quad core. It's got it said 2 gigs. I got 1 gig on mine. I don't know. It's really kind of shady the way that they do it, because if you look in the actual settings, it says 2 gigs of DDR, 32 gig flash. But then if you go and download, which I don't even have it on here now, because I wiped this and redid it. If you download CPU ID and you run it, it shows it's 1 gig of RAM, not 2. And anyone that's familiar with Android and phones, this 1 gig is not good. I mean, phones were coming out with 1 gig of RAM back in like 2009, 2010, like 10 years ago. So yeah, 1 gig is not good. New phones usually have 8 or 12. So yeah, the new unit having 4 gigs, I'm hoping it'll make a big difference. And like I said, we could do a group buy on that if anyone is interested. I've talked to them about it, and they can get us a better rate. I paid a little over $450 for mine, but it's got the dual quad core processor, better graphics, 4 gigs of RAM. It's pretty loaded, so I'm hoping it'll just be, you know, the perfect unit that I never need to worry about. And plus it's got the on my truck, it actually syncs in with the CAN bus, so like if I open the door, it'll actually have a door indicator that pops up on the screen if I don't know, there's this really cool feature on my truck where it's basically like eyesight. I don't, you know, and it's not going to stop your car or anything, but you know, just to have that in a head unit, it's really weird, like, because it's got a dash cam that came with it on the truck, and it syncs in with the unit, and it'll actually tell you, like, hey, a car's moved in front of you, or hey, you've left your lane, or something like that. It'll tell you, because it actually maps the road in front of you and lets you know when you've departed. So that's really cool to see in an Android head unit. I know most of us probably aren't too fond of the eyesight systems herself. My wife's got it on her Crosstrek, but still a really cool, nifty feature. But hoping to see some of that in the new unit. This one, you know, doesn't really have any of that stuff, so yeah, just kind of a comparison. What's a $200 unit? What's a $450 unit? You know, what are we looking at? So I guess we'll find out here soon enough. So pretty loud there. I wanted to throw this in, just the audio. So I did bypass. This was a nav unit, had the Harman Kardon speakers, the underseat amp. I bypassed it. Literally just wire by wire, about 8 wires under the passenger seat that I had to connect, you know, solder in connections. The way I did it, because on the pinouts there's not full outputs, so it doesn't go from there's only like 2 outputs that go from the radio to the amp, and then from the amp it goes to all the speakers. I mean, that's not how I wanted to run it. I wanted to run, you know, front left, front right, rear left, rear right. So I had to run from the amplifier, or from the head unit, run wires down and under the seat to connect to the doors, which I just used the factory wiring, because I'm just using some Rockford Fosgates in there. I'm not looking at anything fancy. I got a 12-inch sub in the trunk, so it sounds pretty good. The audio is night and day different. So I mean, if you have the Harman Kardon unit and you're looking at an Android, I would strongly encourage bypassing the factory amp and putting in some speakers. I mean, I think I paid like $110 for speakers, and I got the components for the front, little Rockford Fosgate components. So I mean, I ran them up top, drilled a little hole in the thing, and I can, you know, aim them whichever way I want. And I mean, I like it. I think the sound is good. And then I have a little sub control here. And honestly, I don't need much. I don't need much at all. I can even show you my sub setup. So this is what I'm working with. I put this in like 4 or 5 years ago. It's done really well. As you can see, this thing is all scratched up. I think I painted it when I put it in, but then the amp is just mounted right there. And I mean, this setup right here, I don't think it cost me too much. It's a shallow mount MTX. Built the box. I can't get under there, but I mean, the whole box is really small. I think I have some pictures somewhere I can post up, but it has the spare tire underneath of this sub, so I can still get to it. That's why I put the handles on it. I got a quick disconnect to disconnect the sub from the amp if I need to, and it works really well. But yeah, so I'm honestly a lot happier now with the little tweaks and things I had to change. If you're not on the Harman Kardon unit, you're not going to have this problem. Because, you know, your doors will probably work fine. I mean, you know, you still might want to add a sub or something. But it's got outputs for sub, it's got output for all that. It's even got output for a 4-channel if you want to put it in. So it's not too bad. I'm pretty happy. But we'll see how this little faster unit goes. And I'm hoping it has a little better amplifier built in. This one's not bad, but like the equalizer, there's not a lot of settings on it. Like there's presets, and honestly most of them sound a little muffled-ish. Not that great. I think that, you know, it's a $200 unit. They use some of the cheaper components that they could get their hands on. So yeah, see what this higher end unit does, and we'll get a video posted.